So let's find out what it's like being a member of Transformation HQ and winning the £500 cash prize.
Hi, my name's Steve Slack. I'm a member at the Ashbourne Gym.
Yep. So how long have you been a member for now, Steve?
So I've been a member since April last year.
Yeah. And what results have you seen in that time?
So before I joined Transformation HQ, I was around about 15.5 stone. Size 36 jeans, struggling to fit into those sort of clothes. And then since I've been through the shoot process, I'm now, when I finished the shoot, I was down to just over 11.5 stone. So I lost quite a considerable amount of weight in size 32 jeans that I haven't been in since I was around about 20. So yeah, really chuffed with my results and my progress over that time.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So what sort of stuff did you try before and what sort of roadblocks did you hit before?
So I've trained in various gyms over the years with friends. I've been to places like Pure Gym and all the conventional gyms that you've got around this area, and just struggle to kind of stick to any kind of plan, routine. Kind of training with friends is always something that comes up where one person can't make it. So never really had any kind of true kind of stick to a plan over a certain period of time. And then also the things like running. I did a lot of running, cycling in the past, but running takes a lot out of your knees and your body. So kind of like that you're only sticking to for maybe a month or two before you think, oh, I can't do this any longer. So yeah, I've done various stuff over the years, but never really had a true plan to follow, I suppose.
Yeah. I'm going to put your results on the screen as well so people can see your results, but what did you find like your results beforehand, before joining? Had you been like obviously attending the gym, obviously putting the effort in, but really not seeing the results that you'd got?
No, I'll be honest, I wasn't attending the gym before those results. I've just been joining gyms over, on and off over a period of time. But I would have been, at that point, I was doing a bit of cycling. So I was just trying to get, I've got a turbo trainer in the garage. So I was training on the cycling, just trying to get my fitness up a little bit. Before I joined there.
Yeah. Brilliant. And when did you start to believe that was the results that you could get, really? How did you start to progress with that?
So my wife joined Transformation HQ, and so did my mother-in-law, probably in October before. And they went through the shoot process, and I was a little bit sceptical that you could get those sort of results. But having seen them go through the process and the results that they got on their shoot, I just thought, oh, hang on a minute, I could probably achieve something similar to that as well. So, I joined on their kind of recommendation and kind of seeing what they got out of it and following all the meal plan and the training plan and seeing their results. Once they went through the shoot, it kind of spurred me on to kind of join and give it a go myself.
Yeah, brilliant. So what worries did you have before you started?
I suppose the only real worries that I had is, can I achieve them sort of results? Can I stick at it? Because I've seen my wife go through the cutting the calories. Because she's a woman, obviously she had to drop lower than me, but cutting out all those calories and eating sensible for that period of time, I thought, is it something I can stick at? That was the only really worries for me. And also, I suppose, the size of the gym. She told me at that point it was only like kind of 6 machines that you work around in a small group. I thought, is there enough apparatus there for me to kind of achieve what I wanted to achieve? Having trained in gyms before, now I realise that, in the past you do a lot of ego lifting and you need big weights and all that sort of stuff to achieve a good result. But now I know that's not the case. So I was put off by that a little bit, but once I went down to the gym and had a look and spoke to Matt, I was soon put to ease, really.
Brilliant. And that's what we try to do, educate people as well, and I think the best way to educate people is to show them the results that you can get and the effort that you put in, you achieve the results, and then you get a better understanding. So short term, when you first started the 6 weeks and start to progress, what results did you see initially?
It was definitely my clothes not fitting me properly in a positive way. They were dropping off me, which is really good. I was losing about 2 or 3 pounds a week. That was in the kind of the first initial stage of the shoot. And then, I was just kind of because I was putting in more steps, hitting me 10,000 steps a day and then 12,500 steps a day, I just became just more fitter, you know, and I got more motivation basically as well. Because I was losing the weight as well and my clothes are falling off, it kind of gives you a bit of a confidence boost as well, and going out, being able to buy smaller clothes, which is really good. So yeah, I felt more motivated ultimately, and spurred on by, you know, just keep kicking on the process because of it.
Yeah, brilliant. So long term, how have you found now your day-to-day results now? How have you found things?
Yeah, since the shoot now, I just feel, well, during the shoot, you obviously, because you're in a cutting phase, you know, your strength kind of diminishes a little bit because you're on lower calories. But following the shoot process, now I'm on kind of my maintenance calories and a little bit more. I feel stronger, performing a bit more in the gym. My logbook that I've got in the gym, I'm now kind of increasing the weights each week, which is really good, really positive to see. And I'm being able to, because I've kept up my steps, and being able to kind of, you know, keep the weight off and making sure that I'm not going back to where I was pre-shoot kind of thing. So, yeah, I suppose that's
awesome. So how's your life change and like your outlook on things, and especially like fitness?
So, well, diet has been a massive impact for me. I mean, going out with the kids at the weekend and the wife, you know, you get tempted to a McDonald's and things like that. Whereas now I see fast food and sort of stuff that are totally different. It's like, I always kind of describe it's like the Minority Report. You're walking into like a supermarket or wherever and you're just seeing calories pop out at you. So you just kind of, you're more aware of it. And I wasn't aware before the shoot that, you know, the size of portion that you eat, you know, that it could accumulate to a lot of calories, and it's just, and you can get a little obsessed with it. But I enjoy cooking. We've got kind of cookbooks where you've got like the macros breakdown in the meals. So I really enjoy it, and I like looking at ways where you can actually kind of make a meal that is really seem unhealthy, but it's quite healthy. So you know, and I suppose another way of looking at it as well is my steps. Now every day I make sure I hit those 10,000 steps, whereas before, and it's even things like, you know, when you go in places. I was in London this week, and on the escalators, rather than standing on the right hand side, I always walk on the left now all the time, just to anywhere you can get steps in. Just little things like that, I think, help you keep going.
Yeah, and then little things over time, they accumulate, and that's what sort of helps you maintain your results long term.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
What do you do for steps? You mentioned that you work at home. How do you get your steps in at home?
So I have about an hour's lunch break. My role is very flexible, so I can actually go out and, you know, as long as the work's done, I can go and take an hour walk or whatever at lunchtime. So I make sure I go and take the dogs. If I've got a packed day and I can't do that, then I make sure I walk the dogs in the evening and do it that way. Yeah. But yeah, it's very difficult, and you know, it's either that, or, you know, get something like that, a walking mat where you can do it at your desk.
Yeah, brilliant. So you must have had some roadblocks that you've hit on your journey. There was any sort of times you thought, I've really struggled here, or I've had to sort of manoeuvre around things, or was it quite easy because you was on a strict path and you've
well, I must admit, on the shoot process up till about week 9, I said to my wife, I was like, what's all the fuss about? This is quite good, you know. We're going to the gym 3 times a week, which I enjoy, getting the steps in as well, which was really good. But then after week 9, as soon as the calorie drop come in, and you're training in a deficit, that's where I started to kind of crave things like cake and sweets and all that sort of stuff, and you're thinking, I could really murder one of them. And then going into the sessions in the morning and training in the gym, not being able to lift what you could lift probably a couple of weeks ago because you feel hungry or whatever. That was the time when I was a little bit kind of not low, but, you know, struggling a little bit through the process.
Yeah, and that's very, very, very common. When I look at your results, that's like, because at the start you're quite motivated, your calories are quite high, and you just sort of, you can see the results coming, so it's there, and that motivation's there. But then eventually, again, it just catches up on you. But if you've not put that effort in, you'll get to like week 9 and you'll still find it easy because you've not put the effort in. But when you have put the effort in, that's a very common thing. But after the shoot, obviously, let's talk about that. How obviously then when you build your calories up and you see your strength going up, and I think we spoke about it before, is that if you've got a leaner body, you'll handle carbs better, you'll sleep better, you'll feel better, and then that's when you can build on your physique there. If you try to build on a physique when you've still got quite a bit of body fat, you never really truly see your true potential really with your physique. So tell me about that, sort of the reverse diet, bringing your calories up.
So I would say the reverse dieting is probably more difficult than cutting, I think, because you've always got that worry of, I don't want to go back to where I was before. So you're looking at things and thinking, I know what the advice is from the trainers in at Ashbourne, but I've just got to. I'm always a bit wary and thinking, right, I'm eating more than I was before last week. Am I training enough? So for me, it was the most difficult bit, reversing. I'm thinking, I've achieved great results. I want to maintain that and stay where I am like that. I don't want to put any body fat back on. And I know it's part of the process. It's bound to happen. But for me, that was the kind of, the bit I suppose I struggled with a bit when I'm bulking. Not bulking, but you know what I mean, eating more than in a cutting phase, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, brilliant. So tell me about going from the 6-week program to then going on to the rolling membership and then going on to the Transformation Shoot program. So just so people know, is we'll do the 6-week initial program. If you enjoy it, you continue going, you go on the rolling membership, and then the shoots are always running. So whenever you're ready to take part in a shoot, you're never forced to take. It's always down to you if you want to take part or not. But tell me about that sort of process and that journey.
Yeah, the 6-week program was really good for me because it gets you used to the gym. So I joined, I was getting used to the sessions and how they worked in terms of where we've got the 30-30 and then the 40 and 45 and what's onwards. So I got used to kind of how everything works, the booking the sessions. I built my strength up as well. I was really focused on kind of making sure that I'm pushing myself in the gym. And then, I think from that point onwards then, I didn't join the next shoot because I thought I wasn't ready. I thought I'd join the one just before Christmas. And actually, because of the holiday periods, I thought I can't commit to a full 12 weeks because I was going on holiday in the middle of that. So actually, for me, I just kind of kept pushing myself to make sure I built up, my strength, got some good results. And then I knew once I come back off holiday, I could hit the 12-week program straight away and into the shoot process. And it's just, it's really good because it's just a case of like opting in to the shoot process, and then you get entered into a Facebook group where you get all the support you need from the trainers and also other people posting things like meal plans and any tips and tricks that they found really useful to help you along. So collectively, I think it was it's a really good process.
Yeah, brilliant. So tell me about the HQ session. So we mentioned there's a small amounts of kit compared to maybe like previous gyms you've trained at. So tell me about them.
Yeah, there is, but the plans are laid out on the board as you walk in that are mapped out for the month. 3 sessions a week, and they kind of, even though they are the same kit, you kind of work in different muscle groups when you go around to those kits. So from one day to the next. But yeah, it's just, I find it, even though that some kind of workouts are the same week on, week out, you might do it like on the row machine, for example, you might do an overhand, and next week you might do an underhand. So there's a lot of variation, which really helps, rather than normally what would happen is you attend a gym and you would probably go, that machine's not available, so I'll go and do chest, and that's all you end up doing for the session. But you went in and you wanted to go and do your back. So I think it's brilliant. And then you're in for 45 minutes, and then you're out the door and on your way, and you've done a good session.
Yeah, brilliant. So let's talk about nutrition. So tell me about your knowledge of food, but also what your diet will look like before starting, and now what it looks like now and how it's developed.
I would say before I started Transformation HQ, my diet looked. I was never a ready meal person. I'd always avoid those aisles anyway. We'd always cook fresh because we like cooking, but I might finish other people's portions off. You know, that would be me. It's like, oh, don't let food go to waste. You know, we just spent hours cooking that, so let's not let it go to waste. But yeah, and I wouldn't say now I've changed anything really. You know, we over the shoot process, we used to like making these Big Mac burgers, and you know, rather than making it out of beef, you'd make it out of turkey mince. So you'd cut down a bit on the calories, but you'd still keep the protein up there. But maybe before then, I might have 2 of them. You know what I mean? So I know now that I can mentally look at something and go, right, that's roughly about 400 or 500 calories, and you know, I've got a good judgment. Whereas before, well, I'd have no eyes on that at all. I'd just be eating what I wanted to eat. But things like, you know, snacks now, rather than having a piece of chocolate or whatever you'd have, I would have a bowl of Greek yogurt and maybe a protein powder mixed into it. So, you know, you're still feeling full and replenished, but you're getting your protein goals in there as well.
Yeah, awesome. So, what would you say to anyone thinking about doing the 6-week program initially?
I would say if you're going to join and do the 6-week program, you know, just go and have a look and have a go. It's a really friendly environment. Everybody is really supportive. There's all people shapes and sizes. It's not like a traditional gym where you walk in and you've got 20, 15-year-olds all just finished school and you can't use any of the machinery. It's really supportive. Everyone is dead friendly, but also just kind of trust the process. I would say whatever the guys there at the gyms, the trainers are actually showing you, they actually know what they're talking about, and just follow it to the T, to the letter. It's going to get you the results that you want. Yeah. That's what I'd say, and that's what I did.
Yeah, brilliant. I think that's brilliant advice. So guys, if you want any more information, just click the link on this video. We'll send you a message, we'll invite you into the gym, you can have a look around and you can decide if the program's for you or not. Okay, take care.